be dispensed with.
Without objection.
So, Mr. President, another week has passed, and the Trump shutdown drags on because Republicans refuse to work with or even negotiate with Democrats in a serious way to fix the health care crisis in America. Let's be clear. Republicans are demanding something that hasn't happened in previous negotiations. They're saying our way or the highway. No negotiation, no Democratic input. This is a highly partisan bill. And they want us to pass this partisan CR that has zero bipartisan inputs, zero conversation, and frankly, zero relief for so many Americans who are afflicted by the health care crisis, which grows deeper and deeper, that crisis, each day. For the last month, the Republican leader's favorite number has been 13. He keeps citing 13 CRs that we passed when I was majority leader. Of course we did. What he fails to mention, I'm not sure he forgets or he's deliberately trying to ignore it, is that those 13 CRs were the product of bipartisan negotiation, of serious conversation. We had to make changes in those bills when our Republican colleagues suggested it. They were in the minority, but they had a right to be heard, a right that has been completely shut out for Democrats under this new Republican majority. It's a new way of doing things, and it's led to the Trump shutdown, aided and abetted by Senate Republicans. Leader Thune talks about hostages. Yeah, the truth is the hostages are the American people that the Republican majority and Trump are holding hostage because they won't help them with health care. Americans are demanding we do something. We address this health care crisis. In terms of extending the ACA tax credits, 90% of Americans want them extended. 58% of Trump voters want them extended. And that's who's being held hostage by the Republican majority. Those are the unfortunate hostages, the American people, and the crisis they face with health care. The ACA crisis is looming over everyone's head. And yet Republicans seem ready to let people's premiums spike by tens of thousands. That's who the hostages are, the American people who need health care relief, who are demanding health care relief. And I'll remind my Republican colleagues, open enrollment is in 2 weeks. It means in 2 weeks, tens of millions of Americans are going to have to make life-changing decisions. Imagine getting a notice that your insurance is going to go up $15,000 each year, as so many of my constituents and people across America are getting, and having to make the awful, awful decision whether to have health care or not, and then think, what if my kid gets sick and I won't have health care? But what do? I can't afford $5,000 or $10,000 more a year. That's the position Republicans are putting the American people in. That's the position Donald Trump is putting the American people in. And I don't know if Republicans don't comprehend it. I think they do. Even when we went to the Oval Office, it seemed when Leader Jeffries and I told President Trump about it, he was just beginning to understand the depth of the crisis. But they either don't understand it or they're brutally callous. So interested in tax cuts for the very wealthy that they're willing to just savage health care for the American people. And then a few Republicans, if they want to act on health care at all, many of them don't want to do anything, particularly in the House, where they seem to hold Speaker Johnson in a frightened situation. He's so afraid to do anything about health care because his right wing will attack him. But for those who want to act on health care, they think we can wait till the very, very last minute. But the reality is it'll be far too late for the American people. And many of them will be stuck paying outrageous amounts of money. The vast majority of Americans who have health care, who have ACA health care and other health care, are going to have to make their decisions by November 1st, not January 1st. Yet, despite this crisis, despite the enormity of the increase in costs that Americans will have to pay, for their health care, Republicans continue to dig in. They continue to say, we don't want to help on health care. We don't want to negotiate with Democrats on health care. They say there's nothing to negotiate. That's got to change soon. Has to, for the sake of the American people. Democrats want to reopen the government as soon as possible so people can get back to work, so government services are not interrupted. But we need to fix the ACA premiums right now. If Republicans fail to act now to lower premiums, the American people will correctly, wish it didn't have to happen, wish we could solve this, but they'll have to hold them. The American people will have to hold Republicans responsible when they face financial ruin.